Hey guys, this is Asad Siddiqui again. I'm the owner and developer at iDesignSmart.com, and I'm very excited to be back with another Avada tutorial. And in this tutorial, I will be reviewing and giving you guys a demo on how to set up an e-commerce website on an online store using the WordPress Avada theme. Now this theme is very powerful and flexible, and it offers a lot of customization options without knowing a lot of HTML and CSS. However, I do recommend that you get some knowledge of CSS because I at least use it quite a bit when I want to format the text and stuff like that on the site. So a little knowledge of CSS will really help you, and I'll show you all along how it's done. And we'll explore some of the WooCommerce options and how WooCommerce plugin is built into the Avada theme and page templates. So let's get started. And I have a sample WordPress install set up on my URL, which is my playground URL that I use for making tutorials and stuff. As you can see, it's a fresh WordPress install and there is no content whatsoever. What I did was I uploaded the latest Avada theme onto my themes dashboard. So if you click on there, I see the Avada theme there, but I haven't activated it. I wanted to show you some system installation plugins and those kind of things on how to set things up and import demo content. So about the Avada theme, it comes pre-packaged with a bunch of layouts that you can use and see, and by no way they are restrictive. So if you are just going classic, you can still set up a shop, you can still do e-commerce. But because I've used classic in a few tutorials that I've done already, I'll just go with something else, and I am planning to do an e-commerce site. So let's just go with the modern shop layout. So let's see how this modern shop layout is, and I think it's a pretty modern layout for e-commerce website. So this one is a nice layout, and it has a circular, like a vintage, if you want to call it, that kind of a logo, a full width slider. This is just the home page. I believe this is a fusion slider, but not sure, and we'll take a look at it. This is like a parallax style slider, so it has a parallax option. Then there is like a tagline or something about their products, and then you see a nice image slider that you can click and it's gonna move. So it is a pretty slick feature. Some standard text, then there is a 2-column layout with a picture that zooms, and then some text. Similarly, another 2-column layout with text on the left hand side. So all these options, if I import this demo content, I'll get all these layouts already done. So it'll give me a head start and it'll give me a good starting point. So I like to import demo options and get started from there, but there's nothing stopping you to just activate the theme and start building your website. So let's jump right into that, and we will see how I can create this website into similar like the one that I showed to you. So once again, I'll go back to the manage themes and I'll activate the Avada theme. So once I activate the Avada theme, it asks me to go and install plugins. So I will just go to Avada, hover over this Avada icons and click on plugins. Once I click on plugins, it shows me all the plugins that it comes bundled in with. So I'll install all the ones that are there except for BB and Events Calendar. That is nothing that I'm going to be using about. Like I think the forum sample content is using the BB. So if you want to set up the forum like they have, you would like to install BB as well. So while I'm installing the plugins, I do have hosting coupon for you as well. If you're in the market for hosting and domain, I do recommend HostGator. I think for the price you'll get a very good service, and their support is pretty responsive. So if you are in the market, check out my coupon. You'll get a nice discount and I will get credit for the sale. So it'll help sponsor me making these kind of videos, and I will appreciate it. The WooCommerce plugin is essential for our site because it's going to be an e-commerce. So the e-commerce functionality in WordPress is done with a WooCommerce plugin. So looks like WooCommerce is all done. I will go back to the required plugins and install the contact form 7 as well. And if you walk through this page, it'll set up some e-commerce option like your currency and time zones and things like that, but I will just skip this step for the moment. The reason being, I'm going to import demo content which has all these settings set up. So I can just skip this altogether, and once my demo content is set up, I can go in WooCommerce option and change things. Okay, and now I just want to go back to my dashboard, so I'll just get rid of the URL and just go back to my dashboard. Oh, there was a link there that I missed. Anyway, I will go back to my plugins again and make sure that my contact form 7 plugin is also installed on my website. So I will click on that. Okay, so going back, another useful thing is if you hover over the Avada, you can register your theme, and over here by following this, you'll need a purchase code, an API key, and stuff like that from Theme Forest, and they have instructions that you can follow to get that done. Another thing is system status, and if you click on that, it'll tell you how much memory you need and stuff like that. Make sure you have enough resources to import the demo contents and so forth. To install the demo content, simply what you have to do, let's look at my site now and see how it looks. So if I visit the site and open that in a separate window, basically I'm not gonna see anything other than the default Avada logo and a blog. So this is how it looks. It means the Avada theme is installed, and I've installed all the plugins that it need. Even if you don't have the plugins, still you are going to see this page. Now what I want to do is go to this Avada icon again and go to install demos. This is the faster way to do things, but if you want to just start designing on your own, you can do that as well. So I will click on this install and say OK here. So while this is installing, if you do need professional help or you're looking for someone who is knowledgeable on this theme, feel free to check out my site and fill out a contact form. The link is in the description, and I have pretty much done a lot of sites with this theme, and I have extensive experience, and I love it because of the flexibility it offers. So right now it is being installed and you see the wheel spinning. A lot of criticism that I hear about Avada theme is it's very bloated or it's heavy. And I do agree that it is heavy. It is a feature-rich theme, and once you create a feature-rich theme, then it becomes very difficult. It asks me to regenerate thumbnails, so I will just go ahead and do that. So what I was telling you is it is a feature-rich theme, and if you, the smart way to go about that is you want to just use the features that you want to use and not use the other features that you don't want to use. Secondly, you can set up optimization, like smush your images, minify your JavaScripts, and compress your HTML. If you are looking for more advanced optimization, you can also choose to use a CDN as well. That will greatly increase the performance of your website. So now, going back and looking at how my site looks, and you see that all the demo content is imported in my site, and I have a great layout to work with, so I can use all of these elements, and I will show you how you can use the Fusion Builder and include elements of your own, how you can change things around, delete elements, and I have done detailed video tutorials on this as well, on how to use the Fusion Builder. That's not the focus of this video, so I will keep on moving and show you how the WooCommerce stuff is done and page is edited. So let's go ahead, and I will start off by showing you how this page is edited and how the sliders and stuff is configured. So I'll click on the edit page button right here, and once you edit the page, it'll give you two options, the default options and the Fusion Builder. Right now my Fusion Builder is active, and the smart way to go about things if you are using this theme is the Fusion Builder. So right now my page is all displayed here in this window, and you can see all the elements that you see on the page are right here. So I'll show you how to edit them and how to add yours and how the layout is. So I will just go view page so we can match different things that are displayed on the site and then start editing them. So if you look at the home page, if you scroll down, so slider is outside of the page. It's done with we'll see how the slider is configured. The page basically starts from here. So welcome to modern shop is in the center. Then Avada has proudly influenced catwalk celebrities and high street fashion for the past 30 years. There is another line of text, and then there is this image slider. So if you go back to the editor, what you'll see is welcome to modern shop is here, and then there is an underline, which is I believe a separator with single line style. Then there is this text, then there is an image carousel which is used as the image slider, and in the after the image slider there is another separator. So all this is boxed within a full width container. So in the full width container you can basically drag and drop a full width container, and it'll give you space to work with. Then you can have different column layouts. So you can, just like they have, I can also do a 1x6 column and a 2x3 column, and then a 1x6 column. So basically if you want to center things, that is a good layout because it's giving spacing on both the sides, and then you have a full width area to work with, so your content will look centered. Also notice that in the page attribute section you have 100% width. So if you look at this page, not this page but this page, and go down, you see that these images and columns are going full width of my screen. So if you were not full width and you're the default layout, then you'll see like a slight border, so it'll have like 100 pixels of spacing or something like that that you can configure and change. But for this specific look and a lot of Avada sample layouts, the width is 100%. So keeping that out of the way, another thing that I do want to show you is how beautiful the mobile view is going to look. So if we are on the mobile view, it's going to look something like that. So you see the menu is all gone, slider is different, and everything lays out very differently. I think the phone layout, yeah, I think it was about the right width. So this is how the phone layout is gonna be, and you can test just simply by resizing your browser window on how it's gonna look. And so basically we were editing the page and working with the Fusion Builder. So now once we have the full width content and the columns laid out, you can click on builder elements here, and it shows you all kinds of things that you can do. Like you can add a tagline, which is like a call to action. You can put a blog, which will show you like different blog entries from your blog. You can configure it to be different styles. You can put products in, which I will show you, and you can put text block. And so the most flexible one that I find is text block, and you can put a drag and drop a text block inside of here, and then you can click on this little edit icon here, and once you do that, it'll bring up a WordPress editor which you can use to edit this text. So for right now, I will just delete it by clicking on the delete link, and then I will be modifying the one that they have. Also, the center one or the center icon, the builder elements can be used to duplicate that element. So if I click on this, it will give me another box like that. If you want to copy and save this layout, what you can do is go to the default editor. And once you are in the default editor, you can copy all this markup here. So all this short code styling that they have done, you can copy it, save it in a notepad, and then you can just paste that in the default editor of a new page and you'll get this layout. So that is my way to export and import content there. I don't know of any built-in functionality like that. So going back to the Fusion page builder here, and now starting from the top, the first thing I wanted to show was how this slider is done. So I was saying this is probably a Fusion slider because of the spinning icon that I saw. So the slider settings are below down the page. So if you keep scrolling all the way down, you will see Fusion page options, and these Fusion page options, you have sliders, pages, headers, footers, sidebars, however you want to configure your page basically. So in the sliders, the slider type is selected to be Fusion slider. So I was right that it was Fusion slider. And which Fusion slider? The Fusion slider called home. So if you want to edit this, on the left hand side you'll see a Fusion slider option. So you can right click that and open in a new window. And once that window is open, you can edit the home slider there. So I will wait for it to come up, and you see that there are a bunch of sliders. Once again, the name of the slider was home, so I'm looking for a slider that is called home. I think it's on the next page. Oh, I don't find it, so it has to be here. Home 3A, 3B, 2B, 2A, accessory, men's, accounts, product, checkout, shop, title. Oh, so sliders is where I want to be, not the slides. So I use Revolution slider for most of mine. Home is right here, and it just says that there are two slides for that. So I'll click on home, and then I will see a home slider, which is this, and then I can, if I wanted to, change the global settings of the sliders. Now if I want to edit the slides, then I want to click on add or edit slides. So basically the first slide will be home 1A and 1B because there is some animation and stuff involved. So going to home 1A. So if I go to home 1A, basically what you have is the image that you have to set that image up as a featured image, which is full width. I believe it will be a 1583 pixels or something like that. So if you right click on it and say inspect element and look at the dimension on the picture, so here it is, slides, list item, and I will expand that further till I find that image. So 1583 is the width and 310 pixels is the height. Okay, so heading is this, then the caption is that, then the button is that. So edit slides, and here you see that they have creating trends since 79. You'll see that somewhere like this. So that is there, which is being done by HTML. You can modify that or start adding your own styles. The background type is set to image. You can also have video, like a YouTube video or a self-hosted video that you can do, which will give you an animated. The downside will be it'll make the slider a little slower. They have defined white color for their heading, and the heading is basically this, and then the caption is basically that. So the caption, if you look, will be modern shop is the boutique fashion brand. So going back here, So that is the caption, and then there is a style which is the Avada style single solid for separator, and there are different settings that are set up, like, and then there is a button, and the button is a custom Avada button with different styles shortcode setup, so you can change the caption on the button or text on the button by doing that, and you can change the link where the button goes to by editing that. So that was the 1A. Then you can similarly go 1B, 2A, and 2B, and that will take care of the home slider. Because there is animation involved after the animation, like 1B will be the second slide, and then you can similarly change these things over there. If you wanted, you can swap out this fusion slider completely with the revolution slider and select revolution slider here, and you can use whatever revolution slider you wanted in this. I'm not going to create a new revolution slider. I don't think the import created it, but if you are going classic, then it imports a bunch of those. So basically just wanted to show you how the slider is edited, and now we'll talk about the page layouts. I did show you how to edit those things, like edit the page element altogether. So let's go ahead and I will change this welcome to modern shop and Avada. So going at the top where it says like welcome to modern shop, I will just edit that to welcome to my shop. And save. So basically I've updated a page element, and now it's gonna say welcome to my shop, and now it's done. That is done. I can similarly edit this. In the text view, you have the text, and there is where I was specifying HTML and CSS. So if you know a little CSS, you can always style your elements much better. So even in the demo content, you see a lot of that happening. So that is done, and then after this full width slider is over, any element that is on the page, you can click on this little icon, and then it'll show you different things. So these 4 images that you see in the image slider, they are right here. And if you want to create a similar layout, make sure that the dimensions of the images are matching with the ones on the page. So if I go there, and I will close that, so my site is the only site that is being displayed. So if I want to see how this image is or what the content area is, I can just go there, and the image is 363 by 511 pixels. So you want to make your images like that too if you want to use this style. So that is important. It will make it look visually appealing. And I will just go ahead, and after modifying a few things or doing things like that, what I will do is I will update this page. And once I update the page, then the little change that I made that says welcome to my shop, you will be able to see that, as opposed to welcome to the modern shop. So if I go up now, it says welcome to my shop, and I think I have done something to this slider as well. So the slider is not being displayed anymore. So I'll go back in and make sure that the right sliders are selected again. So because my slider type was fusion slider, and fusion slider is home, now if I update my page, I should get everything back. Sorry about that. Okay, and now you have to wait a little bit till you see the spinning icon for Avada. At least in my experience, I've had great success with that. So now if you refresh, the slider should be back up and everything should be functional. So now you have this slider, you have this menu, and underneath of that you'll see welcome to my shop as opposed to welcome to whatever shop it was. And similarly, you can change this, or you can like now I will show you how WooCommerce elements can be introduced in the page. So instead of using this particular slider, or we'll just add one after this. So where it says image carousel, after that we can also go to the builder elements, and I think there is a Woo carousel there. So Woo carousel means it'll show WooCommerce products as image sliders. You can also do featured and feature products in WooCommerce that will show featured products. Now I'll show you how the featured products and product configuration works. So let's go with this and see how it works. So just before the image slider, I'm going to put a Woo carousel slider, and when I go in there, I have a bunch of different categories which are my product categories, and I can select multiple categories if I want. So accessories and jackets and women is maybe 3 is what I want to do. And basically once I set up the category, I can select how many number of products will be displayed and play around with these attributes here. And then if I update it, I should see I can remove this altogether and maybe put a heading in there that says my featured items or featured products on my shop or something like that. So once this updates, we'll see how that works, and then we will jump right in to the product description. Okay, now the spinning icon is back, so I'm going to go in and refresh this page, and now I should see, instead of this slider, some other kind of slider which has the WooCommerce products in it. Okay, looks like my page is refreshed now, and there you go. So I just replaced my my image slider with a Woo slider or Woo carousel. I forgot which one I used. Woo carousel is what I was using, and you see how nicely it is styled. So you can, without even having to do anything, you can use a pretty slick display here. Similarly, if you choose to add more images to this, then there will be a slider where you'll be able to, I just selected 5, so 5 are being displayed, and then you can slide to the right and the left by configuring that widget. Similarly, this text can be replaced. I can choose to completely delete these. So right now, if you look, there is some sample text after my slider, and then there is a full width display. So after my slider, which is here, then there is a separator, and then there is some text which is centered by using a 2x3, 1x6 columns, and then there is this full width container. And essentially, if you look at this, there is a half column on the left side and the half column on the right side with the hipster set stuff on it. So hipster set is right here, so the right column is this, and the left column is just an empty half column. And if we look at its properties, I'm sure they have done some image here. So here you go, background image is what they have selected. So the 2 columns, when they are laid out on a full width page, it's going to display this on the right side, this on the left side. In the next container, it is flipped, so they have the empty column here and the background image is set up here and the product is there. After that, you see that there is view our latest news, which is a button. So basically this is a button that goes here, and if we look at the page layout after this, view our latest news, so this is a full width button basically. After that is featured products, and they have used an image carousel just like I did, and the area underneath of that is pretty interesting. So I'll see what these 1x3 column layouts are, and these are the 1x3 columns. Our selection of women fashions ensures you look your best. So this is it. So this is the 1x3 column. I will look at its properties and scroll down, and you see that there is an image right here, and no spacing is selected, so there is no column spacing, and this is not the last column. The last column will have yes to set to yes, I'm sorry. And then there is a little padding defined and no margins whatsoever, and there is no animation. So that is how it is done. So you have 3 columns, and then you have a full width container showing you the promotions and stuff, and a bunch of things that maybe you will just get rid of, or if you like something you can utilize that. Images you can also do like zoom and effects, and those things you can do like that. And then there is a full width section with a background image and a semi-transparent, like a high opacity box that you can use, and they are using some widget here which you can look at, called the countdown timer. So the countdown timer is gonna time down, so you can configure when your store is gonna be live and things like that. Here you have a nice Google map which is styled in grayscale, and then you have like store timings in the footer and stuff like that. So that is pretty much all set. I think you have a good idea on how to set up the pages. I'm not gonna talk too much about how to style and what are the effective layouts, and I have a separate video that talks about all that stuff. I will jump right into the menu and show you how the menu is configured. So if you go to appearance and go to menus, you should see a menu that has the main top navigation on it, which will main navigation I think is this menu right here for this header style, and we'll talk about options as well. So this is the footer menu and this is the main menu. So you select main menu and click on the select button, and then it's gonna bring up the main menu. So it has a few pages, home, home 2, home 3 as the drop down, and indentation means here that it's going to be a drop down, different pages set up here, and that's basically very simple menu. You can drag and drop things as you go along. I'm not going to save this, but you can just drag this or add a custom link to it, or pretty much whatever product categories you have, you can select that and put that on the main menu as well. So the important piece now is the Avada theme options, and I will go over that. So I will leave this page, and I want to show you how the WooCommerce stuff is selected and how your cart is working and all that stuff. So there are 2 things to this. Before going to theme options, I'll show you the product configuration. So to configure any products, for example, if I go to your shop page, the sample content here, the sample content over here has a bunch of products that it imported. So I just want to show you those. So here you have the full shop, and this is also a page that is pretty slick, and so it's useful carousels and stuff. So basically all these products, how are these configured, how you can change these things, how you can change the prices, how you can change the shipping options, that is all controlled by WooCommerce. Also WooCommerce control how ordering and payment works on your site, and how people can order stuff, and then you can complete those orders. So let's go into WooCommerce and products. So the 2 important things are WooCommerce and products. Let's go into WooCommerce first, and I'll give you a quick walkthrough on what the different options are that are set up with the demo. So this first thing right here is when your orders come in. So once some order comes in and somebody checks out on your site, you will see a new order over here, and then you will be able to take action on it, like complete it or ship it or put it in progress and things like that. Coupons are coupons for your site. Reports are basically sales reports and return reports and things like that that you can use to track inventory, track your sales, track how well your store is doing. Settings will be the WooCommerce settings, and I think this is the most important one over here. So this is a pretty classic. You'll find a lot of different things here, a lot of different tutorials on YouTube that will talk about how to configure all this stuff. So if you are in the US, you can change the base location to United States as opposed to United Kingdom. and then you have to select a state. So you can pretty much select whatever time frame you have. So I'll just select Georgia. Selling locations is sell to all countries. Based on the shipping options, you can figure out how your international shipping is gonna work. This you can change to US dollar. I'll just leave it at whatever it is. Currency position is basically you can use this kind of formatting or that kind of formatting. If you have US dollars, they'll have different options there. Thousand separator, decimal separator, and the number of decimals. So that all are the general options. The product options, so how WooCommerce works, it does have a lot of extensions, and if you are planning to go full-fledged WooCommerce store, then there are some extensions that you probably will need, because you don't want to be modifying the plugin that you're using. So the weight unit and dimensions and things like that you can set up here. Tax, you can choose to be a flat tax rate. I know there is a plugin called table-based shipping, that is about the shipping, not the taxes. So you can say enable tax calculation, or decide to include the taxes in the price. So you might want to check your accountant about how you want to set up taxes and what are the best practices. Shipping tax class, you can also select like create a tax class, like let's say 10 products belong to this tax class, and every product will be charged based on a rate. So you can define a rate, and based on the amount of the product, they will calculate the tax on it. So you can play around with these things and configure them. So basically, shipping tax, right now it's saying standard or reduced rate or zero rate. You can also create classes, classes based shipping. You can do table based shipping. So those things you can create and install extensions that will help you. So the checkout options are right here. So once you do the checkout, basically you can enable or disable coupons and enable or disable guest checkouts. If you are taking credit cards on your site and not using PayPal, then you want to be HTTPS, so people enter their cards on a secure page. Because we imported sample content, so all these pages came in with the site. Otherwise, when you first install WooCommerce, you also have to create the pages, like the card page and the checkout page, where it says my account. And then when you receive an order, you go to this page and add payment, and they have short codes basically that are on that page. Then the payment methods are here. For this, we have check payment enabled and PayPal enabled for our sample site, but you can enable and disable whichever ones you want. Shipping. Actually, I do want to show you where to put in your email addresses, and I believe it was a previous screen. So the shipping can be flat rate, free shipping, or local delivery, or local pickup. So you can do that and decide what your flat rate is gonna be. So if you want to do flat rate, you can click on the flat rate button, and then enable this shipping method or disable will make it enable or disable. And there is the box where you specify the rate. So going back to the checkout real quick, and I'll show you where to input the email address, because that's the most common way of doing smaller online stores, is using PayPal for the checkout, and then you can set up PayPal. So enable PayPal standard. There are a bunch of different PayPal options as well. You also see checkout options right here. So if you wanted to do cash on delivery, for example, you can click on that and configure it. You are doing this PayPal, and here you see my email address, but basically here is the email address that is connected with the PayPal. So whenever they are doing the PayPal checkout, the money is going to be transferred to that account once they pay. You can also, for your testing, enable PayPal sandbox and logging. This is just for debugging purposes. And if you want to use APIs for like a lot of plugins, for example, membership, S2 members, and paid membership pro, and those things, or if you're using Express PayPal checkout subscriptions, then you'll have to put in the API username and password as well. So you input those things over here. And then basically you also set when the emails will be generated from your site once the order is complete. So new order, cancel order, you can configure all those things. So you can click on the new order and change what email is going to say and how will it be configured. So basically you can do all that, and the subject is going to be this, email heading is going to be that, and the email template is basically going to determine how your email is going to look like. So you can say view template here and it'll show you the template. So that was just an overview of what WooCommerce is. If you want to know more detail, I recommend that you go to WooTheme's site and look at the documentation for WooCommerce. Another thing about WooCommerce is if you're using WooCommerce, which is the most powerful plugin for e-commerce, you want to make sure that it is updated at all times, because a lot of bugs get fixed by the WooCommerce team and that is released in their core plugin as updates. So you want to update it as soon as you get an update. And you also want to update your Avada theme as soon as it becomes available. Also, I think that is pretty much it. The system status will show you like all the memory stuff and debug stuff to make sure that you have enough resources to work with your website. Now going back to products, which is the second important thing, and if you go to the products, you will see how the different products are configured here. So I will just click on one product, like which is my jacket, and then I will show you what important things that you have to take care of. So first thing is like if you're familiar with blog posts in WordPress, you have product categories here. So your product belongs to one of those categories, and if your category doesn't exist here, you can click on this add new product category and it'll create a new product category, and then you can select whatever categories this product belongs to. So you can select that, and here is the product description for this product, and then you can come down to the product data tab. You can select what kind of product this is, because a lot of products can just be downloaded. A lot of them have to be like, if it is downloadable and virtual, then you need to click on these two boxes. If it's a simple like a product that you need to ship, then you can do that. If you're using same attributes for a bunch of different products, then you can do a group product, and a variable product will be like a weight, where weight is involved or colors are involved and things like that, variations are involved. So you can go to the general tab here and define your SKU, which is the SKU, and define the regular price and the sales price here. You can also schedule a sale on this item, like let's say on Friday this item is gonna be this much between this time and so forth. So you can play around with that. And that is once you do that, you also want to update this short description, because a lot of shortcodes will display that. I think that is what the Avada guys are using. So you want to update the description here, put any markup that you want like shortcodes here, and then you want to add a product image. So the product image you simply select from a media library if you don't have one, and you select adding, like if we didn't have anything, it will ask us to set a product image. So we can do that, go to the media library and select what we want. I'm not gonna update this page, so my image is not lost. And then you have a product gallery, for example, a lot of different widgets here. If you hover over it, these flip and they change, and if I go to this particular product, it's gonna display like different images of that product. So for all those things to work, we need to define the gallery. So right here, and you see all these different images. So those images are done with the product gallery, or the product gallery is enabling them to have multiple products of the same page, for the same product you can have multiple images. You can also do that, and then you see a nice slideshow here, which is built into this theme, very slick. After that, there is the product description that is being displayed, and the reviews and additional information that you can fill out for the product. If you go back to the products, all products, you will also see a few things on the on that page that you can do, like make certain products featured products. So if you select this star on the product, then it's going to make this a featured product on the site. So if you're going to use any component or any widget that displays featured products, then your product will be displayed over there as well. So that was about WooCommerce, a very quick overview. I'm sorry I don't have enough time, otherwise I love to go in detail. The next one is the important one, which is called theme options. And as I said in my other tutorials, I have been went into this in a lot of detail that shows how different things can affect your site, and I will go again over a few important ones. So the general Avada options. Basically, if you want to put your Google Analytics code here or Webmaster code here, you can do that. Responsive, you can enable or disable the site for the mobile view. And the breakpoints, if you are an advanced developer, is good. If you're not, then I don't recommend changing that. What it means is the screen width, where you go under that screen width and the display is gonna change. So those are the breakpoints. And then you have site width, which is the default full screen site width will be 1170 pixels. The header is where the menu is. So the header is basically selected as this logo on the left, menu is on the right. So you go to header content options. There are different kind of headers that you can select. Right now the most basic one is selected. If you want a colored bar at the top, you can select this with the social media integrated in it. You want this style, you can go with that. If you want some text or something in the header along with the logo on the menu to be pushed down, you can select that. So you can play around with those, and when you change those, you'll have to set up your menu and the header settings again to make sure the paddings and spacing is right. So all the different header options like the font size and social icon size will also be here. So that is an important one. Sticky header is if you want to enable sticky header. Right now I see that it's not. If you scroll down, then header will still show on your screen, which is the sticky header feature. So if you want to do that, you can do that. The logo is right here, so you can define a logo, and the retinal logo is usually double the resolution of the original, so you can do that. So you can upload your own logo over here and then define the dimension of the logo. So based off of that, it's gonna be inside here and how it's gonna look. So this one is a transparent PNG kind, so you see through it, which is pretty slick. Sticky header logo, you can define a new, if you are using the sticky header, you can define a new logo altogether. Similarly for mobile, you can define a new logo altogether. And the favorite icon is what gets displayed in your browser window. So menu options, there are a lot of options how you want to align your menu. You can, this is very important, menu navigation height, and basically what it does is it determines how much space you'll have from the top to the menu. So for example, if I wanted to move the menu a little down, I could say it's not right now 110, I can make it 160 for example, just to make it obvious to you guys. So I'll make it 160, save all changes, and once everything is saved, I can go back and refresh this, and you'll see that this menu is gonna move down because my menu navigation height has increased. So I think I should have made it more to make it obvious, but basically if you go there and look at this, you see that the menu is actually 160 and not 130 now, so it does look a little taller. So if you wanted to move it up or down based on what kind of fonts you're using or line heights you're using, you can do that. I'll reset it to 110. And then you can select how much spacing there will be between the menus. Top down padding, you can select how much space from the top down there will be. If you want a line between your menus, you can do that. a bunch of different options. And I think you can also enable the search bar to be in your menu. I think there was also somewhere that the cart is being displayed, so we will have to figure that one out, and I will keep looking. Next one is page title bars. Page title bars are for pages where we have a title, so you can like for example, if you want a title on this page on the top left, this is, I believe, only breadcrumbs and not the title, so this page is configured to use breadcrumbs and not the title. Sliding bar, I believe, is what slides, like there is a little plus icon at the top right, and if you click on that, it's laid over the page, just like that. Footer, you can style different footer elements here. Important ones are the type settings, so you can select all the fonts that are selected. Right now you can see Open Sans and Montserrat, and Open Sans is being selected as Google fonts. You can select whichever ones you want. Lato and Roboto are pretty nice ones that I like to use. Open Sans is pretty nice too. And then you can define all the font sizes and line heights over here, so you can change the size and see how it looks without having to write CSS. So basically what they are trying to do is make all these things configurable, so you can play around with them and you can style different things in different ways. So you have options to change the body font size and the line heights and all that kind of stuff. So letter spacing, you can change that. Font margins, you can change that, and they are defined mainly for the header, like heading tags. After that, we are going to move to the styling, where we have all the colors. So all the colors, like how the menu is gonna look like, you can go there and start changing them. So you can select whatever you want and then basically save the options, so that will be updated. And always keep a nice color palette at the beginning of your site, so that way you'll know which colors you want to work with and what are the colors that you want. So menu colors are here, then the font colors are here, and different element colors like links and rollover images, those will be here. And I don't think that you need a background. Background color will be important if you're using a top bar or you are using a box format. So the description over there will pretty much tell you what this is about and what this is going to change. So these are pretty nice. The next thing on the list is shortcodes, and you can, whatever shortcodes you are using, you can style them in certain way, like for example counter elements or countdowns and things like that. Checklist, button shortcode. So you can style different things, like they have the buttons are styled in a certain way, and that will keep it consistent wherever you use the button shortcode. And the contact page settings are in this contact tab, and you can specify what email address the email is going to be sent. If you want to integrate reCAPTCHA, you can enter the keys over there. You can style how the Google map will be, what are the addresses that are showing in the Google map. And there used to be oh, there it is, the WooCommerce option that I was interested to show you. So now this is very important, because this will determine how your checkout and your product pages are styled. So you can have options for that. Number of products per page will be 12. If you want more or less, you can do. Number of product columns will be 3. And upselling is like if they buy something, you can suggest more items to them from related category, or you can choose them. You can choose which products will be displayed for which ones, so you can upsell. And then you have some options which are basically disabling WooCommerce shop page crossfade, image effect. So these are Avada options that are custom designed for WooCommerce. Show WooCommerce order notes on checkout. So there is WooCommerce menu cart icon counter. So that is what displays that icon over there that we saw. I'm sorry, this is the counter, so it'll tell you how many items you have in the cart. So if somebody had 5 items in the cart, there will be a counter which says 5. This is the option, show WooCommerce cart and icon in menu, that will enable that cart in the menu. And then you can, basically what I meant to do was to show you these options, and then you can explore which option does what, and I am sure that the theme support will be very willing to do that. So basically my focus was to just show you how to set it up and get it running, how the WooCommerce works and how it works with Avada theme and where the options are. And I think this gives you a nice and good starting point to get started on your online store. And before you get started on the online store, a piece of advice from me would be to consider a lot of different things, like how many people will be on the stores, how big you want it to be, how are you going to scale your platform, those kind of things. Because things like shipping or things like different configuration will be limited by WooCommerce. So whatever options WooCommerce is enabling you to have, those are the only things that you will be able to do. Otherwise, you like buy support, buy extensions. So it is good, or it is important to plan how your site is going to be and what will be used to achieve different things that you want on the site. So if you want the default vanilla e-commerce store with great looks and not spending a lot of money, you can certainly go with Avada theme. But if you want to make something like Amazon.com, then good luck with that. So, you know, because it's not going to scale up to that, and a lot of customizations and custom logic will need to be written, which will get very difficult to manage for you. So if you need any consultation or you want to talk with me about it, feel free to fill out my contact form below, and I do offer all kinds of customizations within WordPress or web application development in general. So feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to follow up with you. And I hope that this was helpful in some way to get you started. And if you want to check out how the page layouts are done and images are changed and those kind of things, feel free to check out my other video. So again, thanks very much for watching, and if you have feedback that you'd like to share, or if you want to exchange ideas, feel free to leave a comment and I will follow up with you. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time.